Hi guys, welcome to your Moon in Libra reading. As you guys know with the moon readings, we're going to be taking a look at the collective energy. In other words, we're going to be looking at the energy that's going on within you as a group of viewers. And we're going to be seeing what messages the guides want to bring to our attention at this time as the moon is transiting the sign of Libra. So yay, how exciting. If you'd like to work personally with me, you know exactly where to find me. We do me and my spirit team, that is. We do energy readings, intuitive readings, energy healing sessions, both live and distance. Live meaning by video, and distance meaning by not you and I meeting, but anyway, arranging something else. And also, I do have mentoring packages available for those of you who prefer to kind of buy in bulk and you want a little bit more hands-on of a connection. Anyway, let's jump into this reading and let's see. All right, so Moon in Libra. Energies. Now it's interesting because as I'm dipping into your collective field, the first thing that I got was Pisces. All right, so as you guys know, I read energy. I'm not a trained astrologer, but I can sense the energies of the zodiac, like the frequencies. And I don't know what Pisces is doing right now, but I know that there's an energy here in this field that is worth noting. So I just want to put that out there. Let's jump in. Where do we jump in? I don't even know. Any messages before we jump in? Hold on, let me check. Yeah, the first thing that I'm hearing for us, just generally speaking, is verbatim, it's going to be okay. Now, it's interesting the way that comes out because, duh, it's the message, right? But at the same time, it's very clear that someone's grandmother or a grandmotherly energy is coming through to say that. Not only are they saying that to a specific person here, but it's cleared and able to come through because it has universal application for those of you who are on this call. So 2 minutes and 21 seconds. As I look down, I didn't see 222. So this is telling me that as we move into this time with Libran energies in the air, which is all about interrelationships, something seems to be a little bit amiss. I'm getting that at this time you're going to be getting some revelations about people in your life. Now, the thing that I want to say to, of course, bring balance, as any good Libra is interested in doing, is that not only will there be revelations to you about other people in your life, but there will also be revelations about you to other people in your life. So this is how it goes. Now, you get revelations, everybody gets revelations. And of course, by now, if you don't know me, when I say the word revelations, you should know that I'm making no references to any biblical moments, okay? I'm just talking about energies that used to be imperceivable to you for whatever reason, 3 minutes, 33 seconds, are now going to be perceivable to you. Now, I say for whatever reason, but really, we know it's because the perspective that you were taking was based upon beliefs that were blocking you from seeing that. For example, if you have a really good friend in your life, but before you would hold them at arm's length. I was like, what am I saying? Bay? Hold them at bay's length. Hold them at bay, or hold them at arm's length, or kind of mistreat them or something. Maybe you had thoughts about them that made you second guess them, all sorts of stuff. But now, as you undergo these energetic clearings that are happening for everybody across the earth right now, in your special case, the clearings are now creating a new opportunity for you to view this friend, for example, from a higher perspective. Why? And then you start to realize, oh, it was never really the friend, it was me. Dun, dun, dun. What? You? Yes, you. It's always going to be us. There is no other. There really is just one. And there can be no one unless there are others, really. So when we're saying that everything is one, that is speaking from a perspective of duality. That's like saying, oh yeah, really, everything is short. Yeah, but you'd have to have a concept of what long and short is in order to call what everything is as being short. If you have no concept of other and there's nothing like that, there is no short and there is no tall. They're just, wait for it, is, right? And so the point I'm trying to say is as above, so below. Down here, it's the same thing. The only issue is that we perceive of duality. And so here we are, understanding that if there's no such thing as duality, but we believe there to be, that's, well, just because we have that belief and somehow it's out here. And the whole point, though, is as we heal, we create conditions within our field that unravel, that dispel, that deconstruct any misbeliefs that we have, misperceptions. So I will always maintain that when we are quote unquote healing, all you are doing is clearing your perceptions. That's it. You're growing in your perceptions. You are expanding your ability to perceive. And when we are at this level of perception, it's very narrow. And it's so narrow that most people cannot even see into the non-physical field. They just see their hand. And that's it. Because their eyes are seeing the physical field. But those who maybe have, more developed intuition and clairvoyance and whatever, they can perceive of other things that are going on here. And everybody has extra perception, by the way, but a lot of people are not aware of it, right? And then of course there are some who have more developed or advanced abilities, just like some people can shoot a basketball and the rest of us are like, what? So long story short, what I'm trying to say is whenever we enter into periods of healing, it's synonymous with entering into periods of revelation, meaning things are becoming clearer to us as we clear within the field. And whatever it is that you see outside of you and you witness outside of you is, guess what? Just a reflection of what's going on inside of you. And interestingly, as I looked up and said just a reflection, it was 7 minutes and 7 seconds, 0707. So please understand that whatever it is that you learn about your friend, for example, is going to be feedback to you about yourself. The question always is, can you see it? Can you see it? Do you see it? And if you're struggling to see it and you're like, but Jay, how am I like my father? How does my dog reflect me? How, whatever your questions are. And if you really want to work on that individually, or not the word, what's the word? Interdependently, come see me, right? Then you know exactly where to find me. But if you'd like to work on it independently and individually, that's easy too. You can call upon your spirit team to help you to see these things and then just go about your business. And they will let you know because they're out here showing us and really helping us to have these epiphanies and these understandings about how we are our world. When we sing, we are the world, yeah, we really are. You're the children and the elderly and the middle-aged and the dogs and trees and everything is you. The question is your perception expanded enough to be able to see the messaging that is being reflected back to you about, wait for it, you. And just as your friends will be receiving revelations about you, it's really going to be about them, right? At the end of the day, as we transform this space right now and our inner cells, which is really what's happening, it's just the inner cells changing, it's going to reverberate down throughout the energetic field. And so, as we say, as above, so below. So the energetic shifts are occurring right now, especially as we come into the August 8th portal that's coming up soon, right? Things are shifting in your internal world. And what happens inside is reflected outside. So then you will have manifested for you shifts in your outside world. And the guides are saying it's the shifts of understanding, shifts in understanding that you will also experience as a result, thank you guys, of these shifts inside of you. So again, we're just at any given time, operating with a certain level of understanding because we have a certain level of perception. But when we do energetic work on the inside, whether it's shadow work or any other type of inner work, when we do energetic work on the inside, such as any healing modalities, tapping on your meridians, all sorts of stuff to clear out the fields and clear out your channels of blocked energy, all of that stuff creates shifts in understanding. 10 minutes, 10 seconds. So long story short, if you'd like to evolve as a person, as an energy, as an entity, as a consciousness, you must have the energetic shifts. But of course, the physical world is a carbon copy of what's going on the inside, including the body, a carbon copy of what is going on the inside. And so that's why when things reverberate, in our physical world, we lose jobs, we lose partnerships, we move, all sorts of stuff. We get pregnant, all sorts of stuff happen, these big things, and even small things that we think is just everyday, like, oh, I caught a flu, or oh, this baseball came out of nowhere and just bumped me. I'm okay though, but ow, okay? So these things are all energetically moved. I don't know what to say, ordained, moved. And so anytime you do work on your inside in your energetic space, you will reap the benefits of energetic healing. 11 minutes, 11 seconds. All right. Thanks, guys. Yay. So let's jump right in. They're so fun. Oh, okay. Of course, you can always reach out to me. 11 minutes, 22 seconds. I need a market for myself. Thank you. The guys are so sweet. They're like, say it. So please do, if you'd like to work with me for your energetic healings and shifts, come find me. We're out here. We do it all. All right. So yes, of course. Let's jump in the Strength card. This is such a fitting energy to have flowing through the field right now. Strength. Now, as I feel this strength of the collective energy field, I'm feeling that some of you are doing a bang up job in a very good way of maintaining your strength, maintaining your priorities, what's the word? Shoring up, right? Getting your feet firmly grounded, creating a foundation for yourself. Some of you are quick with it. You're seeing the writing on the wall, 12 minutes, 12 seconds. You're seeing the crumbling of the structure. And you're like, I'm not going to wait till this falls out around me. I'm going to take my action steps to create something new. If I did something before, I can do it again. That's the energy of vibration, vibrancy when it comes to strength. Right? So you've got the wherewithal, you've got the fortitude, you've got the acceptance, you've got the serenity, you're moving, you're shaking. And then others I see of you are, you might have missed a little bit of a step. Some of you are burying your head in the sand. I threw a little bit of that. My bad. I'm sorry. Right? So some of you may be just scared, right? So this is kind of going back to noticing how certain people deal with certain things. When people deal with structure, crumbling and things like that, some people will fight, some people will have flight, some people will freeze, right? Whatever it is, there are all sorts of repercussions for what it is that's occurring. But what I'd like to say is, if you find yourself in the latter case where you are burying your head in the sand, you're freezing up, you're afraid, you're not making the steps, you're struggling to have a vision or re-envision something new for yourself, and the confidence is low. All of those things I understand, right? And I want you to know that we're out here giving you snugs, right? And I want you to know that just because that is your reaction to things does not mean that you are false, or that you're a loser, or that you're, anything that's going through your mind when you have this low self-worth. Actually, simply stated, it could very simply just be a matter of the energetic stuff that's going on in your field, the traumas that you've had in this lifetime and past lifetimes. For somebody else, they could maybe have different traumas that didn't affect their ability to really regroup. Some of them, maybe their trauma forces them to regroup quickly because they just don't, right? So we have different reactions and responses to things. And so we should never look at each other and think, oh, this person's doing better than me right now, or they would definitely survive. I'm always that way. I'm like, oh, I'm definitely dying early in the apocalypse, I already know. in the apocalypse stage, I'm probably out. I always think those things, and the guides are like, we don't know that. We don't know that. So we have to remind ourselves that we don't want to damn ourselves because of a mood that we're in. We have to understand that we are very, very intricate beings, that no two bodies are the same, no two energy fields are the same, and definitely no two, soul curriculums are the same. So you and your brother, for example, may have lived this life together 15 minutes, 15 seconds, right? Hip to hip, and gone through ups and downs together, and really, but when we look into your energy field itself, and we look into your energetic past in your different lifetimes, and the different guides that you've worked with, and all of this stuff, and the different energetic structures in your field, two different people. And so that's why it's possible to go through very similar experiences but have different responses. It doesn't make one better than the other or one worse than the other. It's simply, and just I looked down, it's 15 minutes, 51 seconds, so 1551. It just basically means that now that you are having your initial reaction, whether it's to get active or to kind of like freeze or just to run and hide or whatever, or to just lie to yourself and say things are going to be okay, and I don't have to change, it's just a low moment, it's going to be, we all have different reactions. But whatever it is, now is the time. This is your official wake-up call. Oh, that's interesting, because I just did the Pisces reading, and didn't the guides just say Pisces, and they felt the Pisces energy? Let me see the title for Pisces. Hold on. I think the title for Pisces, I closed the app here, but I think the title was something like, it's time to wake up, because the reality that you think you're seeing is not the reality. So that was a collective energy message to let people know that it's important to see the writing on the wall, to take action. When your guides inform you of something to do ahead of time, make sure that you create the conditions for yourself to get that done, right? If they tell you that it would be in your best health interest to go to the doctor at this time or whatever, make sure that you get that done. If a phone call comes in that reminds you to do something, make sure that you create the conditions to do that. And using the example of health, the guides one day said, and I was like, I like this quote, they said, put yourself in the path of healing, which basically means, yes, the unseen world is working to assist you. Well, not all, but a lot of the unseen world is working to help assist you in your health and well-being. But if you don't put yourself in the path to receive that insight and to take those actions, then, well, what are we doing? Where are we at? Yeah, so you have to do your part. And so this is what the guides are saying. So we've all had a moment now since June, because June was a little, okay, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm sorry, if your name is June, I'm referring to the month. But July was an even bigger one, if I can say, and it sucks. But at the same time, these energies that are going on, and these, I'm getting friendships falling all around you, things like that. This is what I'm hearing in the collective. So at the same time, even though it has been very harrowing over the past, month and a half, believe it or not, it's for the better. Okay? It's really for the better, because what's happening is a global weeding out of toxic energies. And what happens when toxic energies are removed? What happens when plants are properly pruned? You know what happens. We end up shooting up. Yeah, we end up shooting up in health and well-being. But sometimes it's just really hard on our inner beings. Oh, over to the side, we've got this cute little inner child card. Hi, just hanging out. I'll leave her right there. Yeah, well, you guys can't see her. I'll leave her right there. You still can't see her, but it's okay, whatever. You have your own inner child. Yeah, so 19 minutes, 19 seconds, what happens when we undergo these changes, not only are we faced with the, mounting instability in at least one area of our lives. For some people, it could be in finances and in relationships and family and all, health, like I said earlier, could be a lot of stuff. But not only are we facing that and for reals experiencing the up and downs of that and having our reactions and being triggered and hopefully taking a moment to pause, be mindful, and then respond. But it's our inner aspects, our inner children, our fragmented consciousnesses, the wounded parts of us that we carry along with us that are going through the jostling as well. And that's why it's very, very possible that you can feel excitement about something changing, yet at the same time feel overwhelmingly crippled with fear, and then at the same time feel completely angry about why things are changing, right? These three energies, for example, if we look in the field, your energy field, we'll see they could be coming from three different aspects of you, one of which is a wounded self from this lifetime, another which is one that is from a past lifetime that still needs to be healed, right? So we're carrying these aspects of us that still need to be, here's the I word, integrated, right? That's what healing is. Healing, in a nutshell, I will always say the definition of healing is simply to heal our perceptions. In other words, to heal our core beliefs so that we heal the energetic space. Because what keeps us fragmented are our beliefs. And what heals us are healing those beliefs. And as they say, the original sin, I've heard people say that in a very biblical way. It's also referred to as original sin in A Course in Miracles in a non-religious way. Whatever it is, wherever you are is wherever you're going to be. But as we know, the original issue that created the initial missing the mark, mistake, misperception actually, is the belief that we are separate from God, right? And so sometimes when I'm in a person's energy field, God bless, and I'm helping them to connect with these energies that are just not noticeable from, everyday life, they don't usually go so deep to, or so high in the field to bring through information like, oh, what's happening is you're actually angry with God because you feel, right? That's only happened a few times and that's interesting because usually that's a very deep core wound to really work towards, right? So that's what I'm saying, 22 minutes, 22 seconds. But if you for reals were to go to somebody and say, tell me, what is the source of all my pain that's made me ever feel bad in any way, in iteration, in any of my lifetimes, what is the core pain here? Of course, a guru would be like, go home and forgive your parents, and you just want to slap them. No slapping, guys, but you're like, what? But that's not even it. As I said earlier, the core pain that no one will be able to feel and really believe, because you have to feel it on a visceral level. You have to do enough healing to get into alignment to even feel that pain, right? Just like after major trauma, when we're working with therapists, it takes years sometimes to even touch the emotions. So imagine this original pain is just the belief that we're separate from God. That's it. 23 minutes, 23 seconds. That's it. But just like, a wise elder will tell a youth a truth that has been experienced by humanity for generations, because it's just a truth, and it's the kind of truth that you arrive at with wisdom and journeying and experience and loss and joy and reflection and times of being alone and times of being around people and all of that. A youth can't understand that. They're just gonna be like, okay, whatever, and then they'll go out, and we can't fault people for not having wisdom or not having experience. It just is what it is, right? But eventually they too will arrive at an awareness. So when it comes to these heavy truths and these heavy realities that require one word answers, like, God, what is everything? Love. You're like, okay, thanks. But really, what is it? It's like, it's so empty when we say it. But the soul has come down many lifetimes to have experiences that will hopefully lead to a re-arrival at that reality at a visceral level. Now, we feel visceral level kinds of moments in our life every now and then, and we all love it. It's called the aha moment. It's like, oh, I get it. And you stop and the whole world, like the camera pans around you because all of a sudden the whole world's spinning and you get it. I get it. I understand it. I understand. This is, I understand at the mind. I feel in the pit of my belly. My entire body rings with this truth. That's what it means to have a visceral understanding of something. So when we talk about the truth is that you have a belief, a core belief, that your initial mistake, your initial missing of the mark, your initially wrong perception is that you have been cast out from source and that you are separate from God. Some people will be like, I'm like an atheist. I don't even care, like whatever. Because this is a kind of understanding that spans more than your current personality avatar level of consciousness, assuming that your avatar or personality or whatever you want to call it is even into these kinds of things, right? So long story short, these are the kinds of differences between when we say old soul and young soul. Now, there are some schools of thought that say all the souls were made at the same time. And then some schools of thought that say, oh, you can actually have create new souls on the other side. Where I am, I really don't try to get involved 26 minutes, 26 seconds in discursive stuff. That's discourse. That's people trying to create discourse and learning and this and that around these principles. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? What matters is keeping it simple, working on the inner, learning about self, because when you learn about self and how you feel and how you think and how that relates to what's outside of you, and having experiences that change you and allowing yourself to be ideologically flexible and working on knowing when to stand up and when to surrender, these are the kinds of things that give us these experiences that take us closer and closer and closer to what? More understanding of ourselves, right? But a wizened soul or an old soul, they tend to have a gravity towards them. And we don't know what makes one old or blah, blah, blah. But I'm willing to bet it's the W word. It's the wisdom that is garnered from going through life, incarnations, all sorts of experiences. So the souls are like, let me in there. But us down here, we're like, no, right? And that's what makes the difference between two people and how they approach the same issue. And anyway, long story short, you shouldn't compare yourself with other people and how you respond, or rather how you react to things, right? Because it runs deeper than what we're willing to see. And so after the guides kind of taking us into that little, rabbit hole that we just went through, which is kind of deep because they pretty much told us the answer to everything. But we how many more lifetimes do we have to go before we arrive at it, right? What was I going to say? There's so many things I want to come through. Okay. So even though they just took us through all of that information, at the end of the day, what they're trying to say right now is it's best to understand that no two people are the same. So we cannot compare ourselves with others. And, that's what I was going to say. And after they just took us through that whole information, now we can see a little bit more, just a little bit more, how energies like blaming others or guilt or shame and this and that and social societal pressure, how those things start to cease to have meaning. Because when you go from a very, very high perspective where these kinds of things are no longer real, right? It falls away. it just falls away. And so the guides, as they've mentioned to us, our teaching guides who are channeling here, God bless them, right? As they've mentioned to us in the past, and as A Course in Miracles kind of talks about, we are just dreaming this dream. This isn't really us. We're in an altered state. We've got a personality that we have from the soul level created for ourselves to have this experience, hoping to flesh out certain experiences, to have certain experiences to go back with, right? As we're down here, it's kind of upon us to be like, well, let's create balance here. Let's do the best that we can with the limitations we have, but also to understand we're not as limited as we think we are. We have more leeway with things than we think. And it all starts with taking that step back and connecting with self from a real intention to do so, right? What else was I going to say? That's a lot from one card. Let's see what else is on the deck, right? I want to make sure I got everything from what wanted to come through there. Yeah, so anyway, now that we all are being faced with whatever our own individual shifting is, because we're all shifting right now, and we've all gotten to see a little bit of a reaction of how we each react to what's going on in our world, what can we do to allow ourselves to now bring in more mindfulness and to respond, right? Because we want to move from a place of gut reactions to a place of learning to respond. Speaking of, look at the Six of Swords, literally the card about moving on to easier waters, to better places from previously turbulent energies. Now, as I see this card here, I'm getting, the guides are saying we're made, and well, let me see, how did they say it? I felt like they said, we're made to be born to be free. Yeah, so to be born, to be free. I was going to say, are we made to be born and be free? Anyway, we're born to be free. See, this is what happens when my conscious mind gets it. Sorry. Anyway, we're made to be born to be free. Take that however it is. So the point is, what are our hang-ups? What is keeping us in bondage? And take into consideration what the guide said in the beginning about all of that stuff. If all of that stuff that they said is true, then it would logically follow that many, if not all, of the things that we experience as bondage here on this planet are truly not that way if we can take a different perception. So when we heal, we assume a wider perspective of things. And that's really from cutting out fearful beliefs. So if you see, oh my God, I've got $30 in my bank account and I don't get paid until next Thursday, right? Of course, now the sky is falling, because rent is due on Tuesday, and then that this kid needs that pair of shoes, and you need to get money in your tank for your gas and all this stuff. So you're in the physical, right? But what's happening is that you're getting stuck at the denser levels, and if that's the reality that you're projecting, that will be most likely the reality that you get. Whereas somebody else who's like, oh, Mayday, Mayday, 33 minutes, 11 seconds, they're like, whoa, I have to make rent on Thursday. What was it? No, I don't get paid until Thursday. I better make rent on Tuesday or something like that. I remember the scenario. And I've got $30. What are we doing today? God, where are you at? I know you're not done with me. And some people will go out 33 minutes, 33 seconds, and somehow get that money. It may even find them. Of course, some people choose to hold up a liquor store, and that's a whole different conversation here. That's a choice, right? But what I'm trying to get to you is that the reactions are different. The beliefs are different. And so therefore, the response is different. When we have a belief that is limited and held only at the physical level, we limit the ability for energies to flow to us in any different way. When we are in a more of an expanded state and like, whoa, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know something's going to come through and it's going to work out somehow. So I'm going to really keep my mood up. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to put my feelers out. I'm going to try. That creates more energetic inroads for assistance to flow than the opposite, than the other side. Why? Because all we're doing is this. We're choking or we're releasing. The question is, are you allowing the flow? The flow is flowing. But when we get into fear, our beliefs start to come out. Oh, well, you said you were like a really patient person and blah, 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 and you were patient with me. Oh, yeah, that person is patient. But are they really patient? Because let's see how they are when there's something they want to do and you're keeping them from it. If they're free today, yeah, they're free today. So they have no choice. They're cool about waiting around for you. And yeah, oh my God, I love him. He's so patient. Yeah, but come game time when he's trying to hang out with the buddies and they're waiting for him and you're, taking your time, then see, is he patient? So a lot of people are, myself included, my bad, a lot of us are out here walking with faith and we say we have faith and this and that. And then the news hits that, oh my God, you might have to get a new job, or oh my God, you might have to break up with this person, or oh my God, you might have some health stuff to look at. What do we do then? Are we still in faith? Are we like, where are we going? Or do we just go back to, closing off our opportunities because now we are creating a very staunch and limited picture about what's going to happen in our future? Remember that what you put into your non-physical now moment, aka what you choose to believe and activate and put your emotions behind, is what's going to take the malleable, free-flowing energies that are in the ether, it's only the now moment, and going to call them into structure, right? Remember, when we observe energy, we start to solidify it. It starts to become matter. It starts to become solid. And so what's happening is that in your now moment, when you look in the bank account and you see that person call you to collect bills, you seize up, of course, 36 minutes, 36 seconds, panic. But in so doing, your now moment and in the non-physical doesn't know what's in your bank account. It doesn't know about some bill collector. It doesn't whatever. That part of you in that dimension, in that now moment, is now being alerted to your beliefs. Oh no, I'm seeing something my now moment can't see and I'm afraid. Afraid, fear, 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 fear. Now you're just programming, and the universe stenographers out there, fear, 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 fear. And you're programming your non-physical field. And so what's happening is now you're solidifying these energies that were really before that phone call and before you checked your bills, open to being programmed into whatever. You're now programming it to be solidly what it is that you don't want. You're always programming your field. What is it that you want? What do you want now? And now. As I said, that was 37 minutes, 37 seconds. What do you want now? And now, and now, and now, and now, and now. In fact, don't tell me. Just feel. Emote. So it's either you're in fear and limitation or you're in expanded consciousness. And I struggle with this a lot too, because that Five of Pentacles, low faith and low self-worth and stuff, it's out here. This is where we are. We are living in a physical experience, and we've got blinders on in many ways, and we are trained to survive, and we've got systems, and we look in here and it's a 0, and we know that tomorrow we have to have 2,000. How could we go from 0 to 2,000? We can't see it, right? But we have to understand that that's limited thinking, because the reality that you're not able to perceive of because you're still in this 3D kind of perception is that you are a multidimensional being that is existing in a multidimensional space. And the reality of reality is not controlled from the physical world. When you're doing stuff in the physical, all you're doing is working within a past moment that's already been manifested. Even with the body, when you're doing your treatments and your ailments and your all that stuff with your physical body, you can cut things out, you can move things around. All you're doing is managing symptoms in the physical body. And yes, you'll feel better once it's no longer cutting off your blood supply and whatever it is that it's doing to your body. Some of these things can even kill you, whatever is going on in your body. And so you get these life-saving techniques and blah, blah, blah. But you're not healing the issue at the root, because the root is not the physical body. Just like the meat on your plate is already dead. It's not alive. And you've picked the greens, and they stay alive with their vibration much longer, of course, than meat. But at the end of the day, well, I don't know if the exact end of the day, but as the days go by, the vibration starts to dull, and now you're eating food with vibrations that are gone, right? So my point is that you have to learn to work as multidimensional beings. You have to start to understand your multidimensionality, and you have to start to appreciate it for what it is. To understand it and to appreciate it. And when you start to appreciate it, you start to understand that, wow, I can create my reality from a more informed, more purposeful place. Not from a 3D, I'm afraid, I have no power way that you've been taught and conditioned to be that way, because it keeps you in a box, 40 minutes, 40 seconds. But understanding that you're a sovereign being, you're a multidimensional being, and reality is not directed from the physical level. Okay? So if you start a conversation, if you bump into somebody, if you get hit by a car, if you develop an ailment, if you throw up in the back seat, if you find a cute flower, if you bump into someone you love and wow, hi, if you have any experience that you can talk about that you had in this physical world, it has already occurred on a non-physical level, and through your beliefs and your emotions and your mood and all of that, in your physical life, you have activated timelines that led you to have that potential, that had the potential for you to experience that. And then one of those things was so strong that you ended up manifesting whatever it is that you had. So you see, based on how you approach your non-physical now moment, 41 minutes, 41 seconds, you are either creating or activating potential timelines and potential realities that you can go down regardless of what your physical experience is. Or you can choose to hold beliefs that shut down some of those, right? That's what it sounds like, timelines. Now you only have 5 possible ones that you can go down. Why? Because you so don't believe that your landlord will give you an extension on the rent. So, well, that's down. And you've believed yourself into a way that now you believe, my only option to make this money is to rob somebody or to pretend I'm sick or something like this. This is how people limit themselves by their beliefs. And the guides are saying this is how people choose their careers. And I know, because I'm out here, I could be doing some other careers that'll definitely, not this, obviously, I'm not commenting on this, but my job that I'm at, I can definitely make much more. But we have to have the confidence, we have to have the belief, right? If you think you can't do the job, you're not even going to the interview. As opposed to thinking, somehow it'll work out and I'll get through, and when day one, when I'm in there, I'll be good, and then a week will pass and I realize, oh my God, I can totally do this job, and now I'm making 20,000 more. You know what I mean? So that's my point. So what you believe has extreme repercussions on your life. And so that's why when our guides give us advice, or they connect with us, or all sorts of stuff, they may say these cute things like, we understand, we know, and that's because they really do. And they may give you advice that you can understand, but understand that they don't believe you sometimes when you're like, but I. They're like, we know, this is us, cute, the little line, but I don't know, and I don't. Your guide's like, Your guide meets you where you are. Because if your guide was like, dude, you can be making $80,000 if you get this job, you're like, what? I can't make that. That's impossible. Who would, so they understand that sending you to that job is a waste of their time and a waste of your ears. So they will start to help build you up and send you to other things. Oh, well, you can make 40 here and 40 I get but or you can get like 5 jobs and like, okay, maybe, right? So they sometimes have to meet you in your limited vision so that you can put one step in front of the other. And we see this all the time. What if I told you, hey, you are so attractive. Wow, who are you? Some of you will be like, well, 44 minutes, 44 seconds, take a picture, it'll last longer. That might be your, thought. And some of you might be like, stop it, that's not true. And or what if I said, hey, you are going to be a millionaire tomorrow. You're going to be like, you lying, you can fill that in, whatever. All right? You won't believe it. And so what if there is $1 million job that I was really recruiting you for? And I realize, the way she just threw that back at me, I realize she's not the candidate for this because she doesn't even have the belief to walk through this door. Okay, well, how about this $20,000 gig contract? How do you feel about that? Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Can I get an advance? Right? So you see, Spirit is always trying to send us stuff. We're out here like, we meaning me too. We're out here like, oh my God, they never, they don't listen. Hello, is anyone up there? Yeah, they're trying to get information to you. They're not blocking things from you. The problem is they're sending, but you have garnered a belief system that is too limited for the energies to even get into your field. How can something manifest for you if, energetically speaking, it can't even come in? So sometimes, as your friendly local reader, hi, me, if I'm working with somebody's field, I'm seeing in their field, I'm like, oh, hey, you have money coming in. There's money. Like, can I borrow like $5? Like, where are we at with that? But the client, I wouldn't make that joke. Actually, I might. But anyway, but the client may totally not believe it. And so even though I see it here in the realm, not only of possibility, because anything under God is possible, right? But also within the realm of probability. That's the one that, we need to look at. It's possible and it's probable for them, but they don't have the belief to literally, energetically call it in. This is just energy. So as a teacher, when I work with my students, it's so cute. We've all been students before, so we're always like, am I passing the class? Look, as I tell you, the way that this class works is it's a numbers game. You do this assignment, you get this many points. At the end of the semester, it's going to be out of 100 points, for example. Think about it. If you only got 5 points on the first assignment, 10 on the next one, 20 on the third one, 4 on the, where is that 100 coming from? You have to look at how it adds up, right? So this person literally is not allowing themselves to amass the points for the grade that they want to come in. So if you're out here having limited beliefs, you're literally, energetically speaking, doing this. It's a block as opposed to a flow. And 47 minutes, 47 seconds, 11:11. What creates blockages? Beliefs. When you heal, you are only healing your belief. So coaches, motivational speakers, maybe even prosperity preachers, I know some people are divided on that, but if they're out here gassing you up, reminding you of who you are, charging your batteries, they are actively giving you a gift to get your motor running. Because what are they doing? They're widening your belief, your belief in possibility and belief in probability. Yeah, it can happen to you. Yeah, you are the one. You're the one. And then you have people in your life who speak limitation into you. You can't do that. Who do you think you are? You knew what this was. All these kinds of things. The gaslighters, the subtle, people who subtly put you down, things like that. People who are just dragging the life and the faith out of you. Yes, some of you are married to these people. Some of you have them as your children. Some of you work in these environments. Some of you are those people to other people. Revelations, right? And so today, the guides are asking you to start to consider what is actually your role in your life. And I will tell you, you are much more insanely powerful than you believe. And the reason why most of the world lacks that understanding and that belief is because they've been conditioned to believe otherwise. And the conditioning is so strong that if somebody just speaks naturally about how they feel about any issue, whether it's political or a shirt they have on, someone else who disagrees will try to end their life, or will try to silence them, or will try to ridicule them, or will try to shame them. All of this is the way that you get people to further your agenda. So if you are truly a manipulator, manipulators don't have to lift a hand. They just need to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, for example, to believe enough in what they're selling that they will kill to defend it. And then if you're really sinister, you will put emotions into there. And now these people will kill because they want to protect you, the manipulator, because you are the father figure, the mother figure, the leader. This is all thought control, and it's all mind warping. And unfortunately, this is something that happens everywhere and across lifetimes, right? And so a lot of times when people come into this lifetime, they're struggling under the weight of multiple lifetimes of thought control. And so in this lifetime, especially if you're watching this video, you have not only the possibility, because this was able to manifest in front of you and you're watching it for this long, but you have the probability to change this. How do you change it? You step into your sovereignty and you start to see yourself as the agent of your reality. Now, a lot of people will get lost with that last statement because a lot of people are not ready to see how they have contributed to the reality that they are living on this physical plane. Some people will not even acknowledge past lifetimes. They will not even acknowledge multidimensionality within their own body. They choose to wait for the experts who themselves are going off of canons of knowledge that have been approved somewhere. Knowledge is not only approved at the elementary level, 51 minutes, 51 seconds, and high school and all of that, when we see, legal wars or legal woes and wars fought over textbooks and redactions and curriculum. It's not just at that level, it's all of the levels. And a lot of times, sometimes it's as simple as controlling access to things. If you give people a lump of things to explore, they will think they have explored the entire world and they will defend it. And you give people letters, they will act as though they are better than others because now they've got these letters after their name and they know everything. But the fact remains that in this age of Aquarius, it is everybody's responsibility, if it is their desire to personally evolve, it is their responsibility to take a step back and get into the self. The self is where your higher wisdom resides. And in order to get into alignment with that higher wisdom, you have to start to see who you are being. You have to understand that learning who you are takes time and doesn't need to be the thing that you answer now. Instead, look at how you're being towards yourself, towards others, towards animals, towards plants, towards your education. What happens when something in your life shifts? Where do you go? What happens? What do you revert to? Who are you leaning on for assistance in your life? Are you going back to the narcissistic people? Are you going back to the people who mean well, but they're unable to assist you? Are you trying to turn to your friends for marriage advice and all of them are struggling in their own way? And there's that one who may be able to give you something but can't really see into your energy field, let alone your past lifetimes, to understand your relationship with this energy. They're just seeing, oh, your husband, but he provides. And so you see, you're working with a limited capacity in a world of limitations that is designed to keep you limited. And so in order to really push yourself to the next level, you're going to have to make some changes ideologically, energetically. And it starts with understanding that you're a multi-dimensional being that is, and it is possible and probable for you to assume more vision of your multi-dimensional reality than just your physical body. And if I may say, I would invite you all, if this is the path that you think is interesting to you, to avoid getting stuck in discourse. You don't have to go into the occult and this, that, and that candle and that. You need to just get simple, get to yourself, put your feet on the ground, touch your body, 54 minutes, 44 seconds, because it's my belief that you have everything you need to have the breakthrough that you need in this lifetime. You don't have to light one candle to do it. You can, of course, because we have a belief that lighting candles and using a wand and all of this can make our abilities stronger. And so therefore, because you carry that perception, then so it will be, and it'll help you to, along with ritual, also to pull more on those resources and to channel the energy in a certain way. But understand that that's not necessary, right? What's necessary is to heal the belief system. And because we're in a conditioned state of mind, it may take some time and lifetimes, right? But if you're watching this video, this is the lifetime that you get to awaken. Because if awakening was not a probability for you in this lifetime, because it's a possibility for everyone, but it may not be a probability. It's not a probability for everyone. But if you're here and it seems like something that's an interest to you, and you can see the benefits of awakening and stepping into your sovereignty and expanding your vision to see more than just your physical body, to see more than your physical circumstances, to properly vet people in your life by not just looking at what they have and what they're saying, but look into that soul, look into the spirit, right? And they're just reminding me now that the heart, as the guides were saying a few months ago, is the way to go. You must cultivate the heart frequency. And it's not like, oh, I heart you and all this and all that and blah 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 that you'll see on Instagram. It's about tapping into the energetic frequency of your heart chakra space, because that space is your generator. People will buy uniforms of, what's his name, Iron Man, when he has that little heart thing in him, and they're like, he's so powerful, that's what gives him his power. Like, forget all that, it's TV. You have that, and you have the ability to do what AI can do and even more. But you have to start to turn inward to understanding your multidimensionality. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, it's already 57 minutes, and I feel like we can go on forever with this, but let's see if the cards are. We don't really need to have the cards anyway, but I'm just curious. I'm curious. I don't really feel called to read them because we already just channeled that. Yeah, look at that. Love it. Self-acceptance. Spirit self. Eternal gatekeeper. Yeah, there's the heart. I love how they're like, ding. There's the heart, right? The heart, the heart, the heart, the heart. So anyway, just understand that even if you're like, but how does that help me with this ailment and stuff? You have to understand that you are working in multi-dimensional levels. So if you are trying to create healing at the root level, it's not going to be in the body. That being said, you still may have things in the body that have developed because of these unhealed aspects. Obviously, we have some big name things that people die from all the time. I don't want to call any of those names here because it could be sensitive, right? It could also be accidents that we have or just whatever. Some people may have chronic headaches. When you look in their energy field, they've got some hard structure around their head that we kind of have to work through. So you see, it's all in the energy field. And now is the time for us to start understanding that the world is not just physical. You're more than just your body. And it's time to really start respecting all of those messengers from indigenous cultures, messengers from the world of integrative medicine, people out here doing things that aren't even heard, with modalities that some of you haven't even heard of yet. And, people getting their labs ransacked, losing their lives, all sorts of stuff because they're trying to bring this kind of information to us. So if we are really interested in assisting ourselves, now's the time. All right. So anyway, that is the message that is coming through for us at this time. Because yeah, look at us caught in the ruins with the ego. Spirit is like, listen, that you don't have to have that reality if you don't want it. You know, we out here. Let's build together. And of course, you know where to find me if you'd like to talk about that, or you know, get that ball going on your individual level. But either way, you know where I am. God bless you guys. And yeah, yay. Bye.